I'm going to be talking about some years of research we've been working on in propagating native plants. And we have lots of references to help us get there, whether it's all these wonderful reference books specific to Florida, or all these wonderful applications we have in different plant selectors, including the Florida-friendly one, but also the Florida Native Plant Society has launched a plant selector in the Institute, the Regional Institute of Conservation in South Florida. But with this wealth of information at our fingertips, we still only have about a quarter of Florida's natural flora in commercial production. And if you look at that small fraction, that only represents a very small portion of our entire ornamental industry in Florida. So one of the bottlenecks to this is this need for species-specific research on propagation. And that's where my research program ties in. So we look at all of these, we work with the industry, and we look at all of these different factors that can help to get more native plants into production and increase our native plant palette. So what we're really shooting for is the ability to have year-round propagation. So this requires us not only to look at seed germination, but also cutting propagation and even sometimes micropropagation. And we also look at containerized production and landscape performance. This is, we take two approaches to do this. The first approach is to find what I call diamonds in the rough. So those are plants that look ornamentally attractive in their natural areas, but they haven't been introduced to the industry yet. So we work out those propagation systems. And then the second approach is where we look at natives that maybe a handful of growers carry them, and we think based on their ornamental traits that they merit wider attention and use. So just to give you an example, we've worked with many different species. These are some examples of wildflowers we've looked at. We're trying to capitalize not only on their beauty, but also their ecological service. And in addition to herbaceous species, we also look at woody shrubs and small trees, like you can see here. And so we kind of ask ourselves four primary questions. The first is it easy to propagate by seeds? And sometimes it is, and sometimes it's not, but we're not just looking at how many seeds can we get to germinate. We're looking at how uniform that germination is, and we're looking at how fast that germination is. And we're also looking at the seed viability, or the potential for the seeds to germinate. Seed storage is a very important question our growers need to know. And so we look at traditional refrigeration versus dry storage, but also more sophisticated systems like cryopreservation. The second question we ask is, can we propagate it by cuttings? So we want to capitalize on that genetic diversity of seeds, but for year-round propagation, we need to also explore cutting propagation. And there's lots of benefits to this as well, like the clonal selection and increased uniformity. And so for this, we look at everything from where to take that cutting and the commercial mix. Thank you. And finally, the last question is the micropropagation feasible? So AgriStarts has started a commercial propagation facility, and they have a whole line of native ornamentals. And so we look at that as well. And Melissa has given me my stop signal, and that was my third to final slide there. So thanks, everyone.